All right, so today we're going to take a look at kind of how a credit card works. So we're going to start with a real bad situation. So let's say that Throckmorton here has spent a whole bunch of money. He owes $9,000 on his credit card. And Throckmorton has missed some payments. So in the US, one of kind of the default APRs, if you miss payments, you can go to what's called a penalty APR, which is often as high as 28%. So he is now owes 28% interest on his monthly payments on his credit card. Now, Throckmorton has decided that, well, he wants to stop this. He doesn't want to be riddled in debt his whole life, but he can only afford a certain amount of money. He can only afford to pay $250 every month. Now, he's not going to use the card for anything else, but this is where it is. He's trying to pay it down. He's not going to buy anything else. He just wants to make it go away. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of look at how this process works with a credit card. So before we talked about our compound interest formula, which was this guy. Now we have some of this information and we're going to use some of it for this. We know that the principal, the initial debt, is the $9,000. We know that the interest rate is the 28% penalty APR, which is going to be 0.28 in our calculations. Now, credit cards, while typically at this point they're actually doing it daily, they only add it in monthly. So to make things a little bit easier, we're going to consider it that they are compounding monthly. So our N is equal to 12. Now, when we go through and work with a credit card, you're typically making payments once every month. So our time on every calculation is actually 1/12. So if we plug all this information in, we'll see a couple odd things happen. For one, we have our 9,001 plus 0.28 over 12 over, well, NT 12 times 1/12 would just cancel. So we don't even have to really worry about that. The next thing that we want to look at is we're going to only be looking at the interest itself that has to get paid in. So we're actually going to ignore the 1 as well. So our main calculation is actually just going to be the principal at that month times 0.28 over 12, our rate over N. That's actually what we're going to do. So let's kind of take a look and make a little chart as to what happens to poor Throckmorton here. So let's say the first month. I'm going to make a little chart. We're going to do like 3 months worth of work here. So Throckmorton starts off with a starting balance on month 1, so starting balance of $9,000. At the end of the month, the credit card actually charges him interest. So to calculate our interest, we're effectively just going to do P times R over N, in which case it's our 9,000 times 0.28 divided by 12, and we can see how much interest the credit card is going to charge him that month. So let's dump that into the calculator. So we have 9,000 times 0.28 divided by 12, and they're going to charge him $210 interest. Now Throckmorton makes a payment of $250. And so at the end of that whole first month cycle, he's ending up at an ending balance of, and let's see. So he started off owing $9,000. The credit card added the $210. We take away the payment that Throckmorton made, and now he owes $8,960 at the end of the first month. Okay, we start the second month. We're actually going to carry this down to his starting amount. So starting month 2, he owes $8,960. At the end of month 2, the credit card charges him interest. So we're going to do our $8,960 times our 0.28 over 12, and we'll see how much interest they charge him this month. So 8,960 times 0.28 divided by 12. So now this month they're going to charge him $209 and 0.066666666 cents. When you go through a process like this mechanically or by doing it by hand, carry out a whole bunch of decimal places. We don't want a rounding error to build up. All right, he still makes his $250 payment. So at the end of the second month, we have the $8,960 plus the $209 minus the 250 to find out how much he owes now. At the end of month 2, he now owes $8,919.07. Okay, so we come to month 3, carries down. $8,919.066666. We calculate the interest payment again. So now we're going to use this times the 0.28 divided by 12. And this month they charge him $208.111555555 interest. Notice that the interest is actually decreasing just a little bit each month. It's because as his balance goes down, there's less of a balance for them to charge him interest with. He still makes his $250 payment. So now at the end of 3 months, we can see how much he still owes. So we have our balance plus our interest minus the payment he made. So at the end of 3 months, he now owes $8,877.18. So I want you to kind of look at this as we go through this process. It's not hard, but it is time consuming. So in the homework, I ask you to do a lot of them. It's going to be easier to do it on Sheets or Excel. You can feel free to actually talk to me about how to set it up on a spreadsheet or talk to some of your peers who have set it up when they had me in class, and that will make things a lot easier. If you have no access to it, you got to do it by hand. So notice things. The total amount of the payments that he's made is now $750. He's paid $750 to this credit card. But he started at $9,000. He's ended at $8,877. Only $122.82 have actually gone to his credit card. All the rest of that money went to interest. Most of the money that he's paying is not helping him. It's actually going to the credit card company as profits. If you take one thing kind of away from this year of Algebra 2, it's this: never make minimum payments on a debt. Always pay as much as you can afford while still saving. If he was raising his payment, if he raised his payment to $275, this interest would be going down much, much faster. Over the course of the lifetime of a loan, you can end up paying a lot more. If he keeps making $250 payments, he's looking at probably paying around $18,000, $19,000 to the credit card before he even gets his $9,000 paid off. This is even more extreme with mortgages. If you have a $100,000 mortgage, you're probably looking at, over the lifetime of the mortgage, paying them about $180,000 in all this extra interest. So it is very, very much important that, one, you don't get trapped in debt. When you use a credit card, pay it off every month. If you have to use it for something big, pay it down as rapidly as you can while still maintaining an emergency fund. That way you don't have to dip into it if you have an emergency. That's basically it. Feel free to contact me if you need help setting this up on a spreadsheet or something similar. And good luck.